Hey guys, welcome to Seller Sessions. We rejoin my conversation with David for part 2 on how Chinese sellers are winning the race on Amazon. The company structures over there are different, aren't they? When it comes to HR, internal regulations is a lot different in terms of work hours. Do you want to go into that for me?
Yeah, so okay, this is getting really funny. I just joined Sun Valley when I was working for Rough Power, and I remember this very funny episode. It was probably 3 or 4 months that I was in the team, and we received an email on a Wednesday or a Tuesday afternoon. It was like 5:30, and in the email it was written that we were restructuring the company, the entire organization, and the biggest change would impact the marketing and sales team. What happened? We received this email with the new seat changes that we would have to do the morning after. So we changed our seats in a Wednesday morning. So we received the email on a Tuesday afternoon. It was 5:30, and the Wednesday morning when we came back, we knew already where we were going to sit, and we just changed our seat. So this shows you how flexible is the internal structure, because the thing is this: we said already that everything that is happening in the online marketplaces, especially in marketplaces like Amazon, in this amazing platform where you can buy different products, and there is new products coming every day, every week. There's subcategories. There's a big competition. The most important thing is to be flexible, because only if a company is flexible, they can be quick in launching new products, in changing their strategy, in changing their workforce. So, for example, what we went through in the past 2 to 3 years was a major adapt organization structure of Amazon sellers in China. This is very important. 4 years ago, the Amazon sellers were following a different an horizontal structure and organization. This means that for every different countries where they were selling at, they had the sales managers that would take care of different brands, because the sales managers, they can speak the language of that country. So you would have the main team that would be for English-speaking country. Then you would have another team for Germany, another team for Italy, Spain, and so on and so forth. What happens is that actually the sellers realize that it is much more effective in terms of sales to actually divide their internal structure per product line or per brand. So you would divide per brand if your company's got like 3 or 4 brands, and then you will divide even further per product line if the brands inside your company have got different product lines. So this is how it would happen. Every brand is divided into it's got a subdivision into product lines, and those product lines they are managed by an entire team, and this team, they have inside the team there is people speaking different languages, because they want to focus on that particular product line so that they can have more time to do analysis on that particular product line, and they can focus on the competitors and on everything that is going on that product line.
Yeah, that makes sense. So let's talk about the entrepreneurial mindset and the high churn and the talent costs. In example, in Shenzhen are quite high. It sounds kind of brutal, the turnover in China, because people are obviously, they're keen to learn. They're from an early age. They've got an entrepreneurial mindset. So quite a lot of people will go into companies, learn, and start building their own, won't they?
Yeah, so this is also a very big difference with what we do in the West. For us, going to work, joining a company is learning, and also it's a different approach that we have towards our work. We work because we want to learn something, but it doesn't go further. It doesn't really grow stronger than that. Our will to learn. I would say that the percentage of people who really know deep inside of them that want to be an entrepreneur in the West is much smaller, is much lower than the people who actually know that they want to be an entrepreneur in China. This is happening because of many reasons. It's a cultural reason. It's politic and its history, because now China is opening to the market. They know that they can sell pretty much anything anywhere to anybody. So why don't they just get this opportunity? So what happens here in the Chinese company is the trend of actually very young workers, very young account managers and sellers, to join the big companies and try to learn as much as they can, even trying to work as often as they can. They would work even on a Saturday and Sunday, as we will see also later on. Yeah. Why? Because they want to learn, and as soon as possible, they know that they will leave this company because they want to start their own business. This is a very different approach, because I mean, me as a Western, we wouldn't do that, because we don't want to compete with the same company where we learn from. I mean, in some cases, most of the cases, but here in China, there's such a high competition that it doesn't really matter. Or if they want to do a smart approach in the market, they will learn as much as they can about that particular product line, because as we saw before, they are divided into product lines now. So they will become a master in that particular product line, and then they will try to launch a sub product line on Amazon for a number of reasons. They already know something about the same product line, and they hope that a new subcategory would not be as crowded as the other one. So this, all of this entrepreneur mindset that is very early, it goes all together with the very practical culture of get shit done in China, instead of asking for permission and then approval and strategy and analysis and doing again and again. So everything goes together. There are so many people, and if you can do it things quickly and fast, you're much more appreciated in the culture, because the competition is very high for everything. So what people are seeking for here, it's money. As also, as my friend said, as another big guy that I've interviewed, Noah Hirschman, he knows a lot of things. He's been in China for so many years. He's been working for for many big e-commerce and internet companies. He said that the Chinese people are obsessed with everything that involves money. I remember that I didn't write this thing in the article. It's just coming in my mind right now. Yeah. My first talk together with Noah Hirschman, he told me this thing. Hey, David, do you know what is the most researched word on Google.com in the Western world? I said, I don't know, maybe sex? He said, yeah, it's sex. Of course. Yeah. And do you know what is the most researched word on Baidu? I said, I have no idea. It's sex also. I said, no, it's money. So Chinese people, they want to know how to make money. And this is a basic difference between the West and China. I'm not saying, and Asia, I'm not saying the West and the East. I'm just saying China, because this is the culture that prevails here. You have to learn as much as you can. You have to work as much as you can, because then you want to make your own business. The smartest here, there would be those who make their own business, because they know that they will make much more money than working for somebody else. And also because they don't want to use all of their time to make somebody else rich. I mean, this is also what every entrepreneur is thinking, but here is exasperated. You would see sellers as young as 24 years old or 26 years old, like leaving the company only after 3 years or 2 years and starting their own business that in most of the case, it doesn't lead anywhere, but at least they have tried. And if they are lucky enough, maybe because they have some connections, they will get some funds, some investments from some angel investor, equity or whatever. So there's a lot of opportunities here. So it would be very stupid for some of them to not catch this opportunity.
Yeah, makes sense. So I want to cover the skilled foreigners part here, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously they become less and less use for skilled foreigners. One of my favorite quotes here is, Chinese sellers have the advantage from cheaper supply, better relationships, a huge community, less to pay in taxes, venture capital, but now they can hire skilled foreigners to manage marketing, which, to be honest, has become less and less as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So this quote is taken from Zach Franklin, is one of our yeah. So he's also living in Shenzhen. He's very active. I think he came in China also 4 years ago. We had a pretty similar path. So I've also interviewed Zach Franklin, and he said this thing that Chinese people are actually in a better position, you know, to when it comes to make business online, when it comes to sell on Amazon. And this is also one of the other topics that I've explored in this blog post. Plus, now they also have the possibility, the opportunity to hire skilled foreigners to manage their marketing. So what happens is this thing. They have all of these huge advantages. They're close to their supplier. They pay less taxes. They can pretty much launch everything in the product in a matter of days or weeks. They're not afraid of trying new things, and this is all to their advantage. But you would say, okay, but Chinese sellers are still Chinese, so they don't know how to approach my culture. They don't know how to speak my language. That in most of the cases it is true. But what happened? The trend 4 years ago, 3 years ago, it's been this. A lot of foreigners have been coming in China, and they've been settling in cities like Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Chengdu, Hangzhou. Those kind of cities, they've been booming in the past years. Like Shenzhen is a city that was refounded, let's say 30 years ago, not even 40 years ago, and the way it's been developing, it's just impressive. It's somebody said, I read somewhere that only Shenzhen, the amount of concrete used for building skyscrapers has been exceeding the amount of concrete and the amount of skyscrapers built in the United States and also Australia. I remember something like that only in 2017. So it's been growing a lot, much faster than what we can expect. And in between growing the city itself, also the facilities have been growing, the living standards, the living conditions. So this is making this kind of city more attractive to the skilled foreigners. Yeah. Even more attractive than Shanghai or Beijing, because those cities are already well known. Yeah. Into the Western world, but they have pretty much similar salaries, but very high cost of living. A city like Shenzhen is so appealing because the cost of living is still low, but the salary is just the third on the list after Shanghai. I don't remember now the exact number, but it should be after Shanghai and Beijing. So you see that the cost of living is low, but the salary is very competitive. Plus, the city itself is super new. So this is very appealing for the foreigners. What happens here is that this is the trend, but right now this trend is a little bit changing for a number of reasons. That what Chinese sellers actually prefer right now is to try to hire a Chinese who has good skills in the language where they want to sell, and of the country where they want to sell. For example, Chinese returnees or American-born Chinese or Chinese who have been studying abroad, and then coming back. So this actually, we're seeing right now an inverted trend of what was happening 3 to 4 or 5 years ago. So now there is less and less space for the skilled foreigners. It's happening not only because the Chinese sellers want to hire somebody who is Chinese. This is a very it has to do with some kind of nationalism here, also some personal preferences. Chinese people, they like to keep it, within the house, as I would say. And also because they know the Chinese people are actually good, they work a lot, they have no problem in working in the weekend and so on. And also another reason is that the requirements requested by the Chinese government to foreigners is a lot higher. It's much more strict now than what it was 4 or 5 years ago. Just to conclude this topic about the foreigners, I want to bring this example. When I just joined Sun Valley 4 years ago, I was hired as a marketing manager support. I had to do support to my colleague that at that time she was 4 years older than me, and she has never worked with e-commerce or marketing or PR. She was in charge for the entire marketing for the Italian market. What happened is that once they realized that actually my skills were proven, because at that time I already had 4 years of experience in online marketing, it didn't take them long to actually put me as a supervisor of her. This goes together with the very flexible structure. I mean, they didn't really care of, hiring me as her assistant, and then after 2 months, inverting the situation. They really had no problem in doing that. And there was nobody that could stop them doing that. So, of course, I could do a better job than her. I could do this. I could do the same job that she was doing plus mine. And after 2 months, I was put on top of the entire team. I was the team leader for the marketing. So what can we see here? That they hiring me, it was of course a good choice. It was smart because I already had good experience with marketing at that time. But hiring this other woman was not a very smart choice. It was a choice that was given by the need of having somebody who could just speak Italian. So this is not happening right now. If 4 or 5 years ago it was okay to be hired by a Chinese seller just because you can speak the language of the country where they want to sell in, today this is not happening anymore, because there is a lot of strict rules and requirements that the foreigners have to fill in. And many times it is too expensive to hire somebody who has all the requirements, so they would just hire somebody who is Chinese. And they're also realizing that actually they don't need as much foreigners as they did before.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks again for joining us. Please rejoin us in a couple of days for part 3. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We'll see you soon. Take care.